Aristotle said that the goal of all human activity should be happiness. Down the ages, we haven't listened much to Aristotle. Perhaps he should have told us how to be happier. The pursuit of happiness holds an honored position in American society, beginning with the Declaration of Independence, where it is promised as a cherished right for all citizens. Today, the enduring U.S. obsession with how to be happy can be observed in the row upon row of popular psychology and self-help books in any major bookstore, and in the millions of copies of these books that are sold. If you happen to have some experience with people who are chronically unhappy, you may be of the opinion that, for deep-rooted psychological reasons, people's happiness is predestined, perhaps by heredity or childhood experience, and that they have little control over their feelings in general. You're watching Wealthy Buddha, and today we're answering the question, do we really have control over our own happiness? There is no doubt that there are people who are temperamentally more inclined to happiness than others. For some, the glass is always half full, for others, half empty. Psychologists and psychiatrists have determined that capacity for happiness is determined by the interaction between genetics, childhood experiences, brain chemistry, and important life events. Clearly, adults can do nothing about their genes, childhood experiences, or past misfortunes in life. However, while everyone is dealt a different hand of cards with respect to happiness, just as for every other blessing, there is a great deal that can be done to play our hand better and to improve it during the game of life. Adults are differently endowed with athletic ability as a result of genetics and the extent of training and exercise during childhood, youth, and subsequently, yet everyone can markedly improve their fitness by sensible regular exercise. Similarly, we may through hereditary influences and background be thought of as more or less intelligent, but the majority of us can train our minds and develop them. We may be more or less inclined through our genes and environment to become overweight, but healthy eating and exercise can make most fat people considerably thinner. Why, in principle, should our ability to become happier be any different, despite our different starting points in terms of temperament? Studies have shown that happiness has numerous positive effects that appear to benefit individuals, families, and communities. Happy people gain tangible benefits in many different life domains, including larger social rewards such as higher odds of marriage and lower odds of divorce, more friends and stronger social supports, superior work outcomes such as greater creativity, increased productivity, higher quality of work and higher income, and increased activity and energy levels. Further studies have suggested that happy people are more likely to have a strengthened immune system and even live longer lives. But while self-help books present a number of suggestions for improving one's happiness levels, they often have limited grounding in scientific theory and little to no proof of their effectiveness. So, is the pursuit of happiness futile? Not exactly. Fortunately, there have been plenty of scientific discoveries that have shown proven effects for increasing an individual's overall happiness. Past research indicates that there are 3 factors which account for a person's well-being. Genetics has been shown to account for around 50% of one's happiness level, 10% is determined by outside circumstances, and up to 40% can be influenced by intentional activity. Although these exact figures have been contested by various researchers, the general consensus remains that the conscious decisions that you make in your everyday life may provide a long-lasting happiness-boosting potential that is at least as large as, and possibly much larger than, changing your circumstances, which may be beyond your control. There are certainly some general activities that one can engage in to increase their happiness. For example, exercising regularly, being kind to others, reframing situations in a positive light, and expressing gratitude for the blessings in your life have all been proven with scientific backing to increase one's happiness. Perhaps the most substantial general activity you can engage in to boost your well-being, according to research, has been to set important personal goals for yourself or devote yourself to a meaningful cause and actively work on achieving these goals every day. It's important to note that these goals should be specific to what truly matters to you. Each person has different priorities and dreams, and the goals you set for yourself should truly speak to you as a meaningful advancement to your life. For example, Extroverts may benefit most from engaging in activities that bring them into regular contact with other people, and people high in the nurturing trait may benefit most from activities and goals that afford them opportunities to take care of others. Another major proven factor in increasing one's overall well-being is increasing the amount of control one has over their life. Agnes Campbell, a psychologist at the University of Michigan, focused several years of his research on what made people in America happy. He described his findings as follows. Having a strong sense of controlling one's life is a more dependable predictor of positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life we have considered. Lack of control is the root cause of much unease and uncertainty. For example, many people become extremely frustrated when they get caught in a traffic jam. These people may be considerably happier taking a roundabout route to where they need to be, even if it takes longer, because it increases the level of control they have over the situation. Setting goals for yourself can also help here, because the freedom of choice is greatly increased when you have extra money and assets to work with. The United States is the richest country in the history of the world, but there is little evidence that its citizens are, on average, happier today than they were in the 1950s, when wealth and income were much lower, even at the median level and adjusted for inflation. A 2019 poll of 150,000 people from 140 countries found that about 45% of Americans said they felt a lot of worry the previous day. The global average was 39%. Part of what's happened here is we've used our greater wealth to buy bigger and better stuff, but we've simultaneously given up more control over our time. At best, these things cancel each other out. The average new American home now has more bathrooms than occupants. Our cars are faster and more efficient. Our TVs are cheaper and sharper. What's happened to our time, on the other hand, barely looks like progress. Making the conscious decision to save your money or put it in assets instead of buying the latest and greatest gadgets can be the difference between whether you can wait for a good job to come around if you get laid off or have to take the first one you find. It can be the difference of being able to deal with a medical emergency without the added burden of worrying how you'll pay for it. It's no surprise that researchers have found that people with high levels of self-control experience more positive outcomes in life, such as higher academic achievements, better health, and increased levels of happiness. If control over doing what you want when you want to is one of the most beneficial contributions to one's happiness, then making the right decision over what to do with your money is one of the most important, substantial positive changes you can make for your well-being. Although happiness is a complicated, multifaceted human experience, there is plenty of research that suggests that you can increase your levels of happiness by the decisions you make on a daily basis. Although we all have different baseline levels of happiness based on our genetics and past experiences, we can all make the conscious effort to increase those levels. Happiness is a duty. We should work on our happiness, and in doing so, we should help those closest to us, and even those who just stumble across us, to share our happiness. And although the pursuit of happiness may not be easy, it appears to be, nonetheless, under our control. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and from all of us here at Wealthy Buddha, thanks for watching.